Hey guys, it's Amanda and welcome back to another video that nobody asked for. So as you can tell by the title, today I am going to be talking about the myth of meritocracy on YouTube. But before we get into that, I would like to thank Skillshare for sponsoring today's video. So if you don't know, Skillshare is an inspiring online learning community with thousands of classes for creative and curious people. Skillshare offers membership with meaning. There's so much to explore. They offer classes that are designed for real life and circumstances that come with it. So no matter what stage you are in life, Skillshare can be super helpful for you. They have classes related to photography, graphic design, illustration, creative writing, productivity, you name it. I'm personally really excited to take another class taught by Thomas Frank, a productivity class that is called How to Build Habits That Last, because I need that. I need someone to keep me accountable, and I need a way to set realistic goals. Skillshare is curated specifically for learning, so there are no ads to interrupt your experience, and with an annual membership, you pay only a little under $10 every month. So the first 1,000 people to click the link in my description will get a free trial of the Skillshare Premium membership. All right guys, so have some fun learning on Skillshare, but before you do that, finish the rest of this video. So basically a couple of weeks ago, I came across this political philosopher named Michael Sandel, and he coined the term the Tyranny of Merit. He wrote a whole book about this concept and did a TED talk on it, and basically his argument is that a lot of Americans believe that we live in a meritocratic system, and we really don't. And this leads people who are successful to think that their success is all their own doing, and it leads them to look down on people who haven't been as successful because they think their failure is also all of their own doing. So when people are looking down on other people like that, it just provokes resentment and creates an even greater divide between winners and losers. So Sandel argues that we need to reconsider the meaning of success and recognize the role of luck in order to create a more generous and less divided civic life. At least as an American, I definitely see that very staunch political divide that we have in our country with the two-party system. And then even you could kind of relate it to people who have made it in terms of wealth and who have not. One of the most common arguments that people bring up when they talk about the shortcomings of America's meritocratic system is higher education, especially as it relates to elite colleges. So I already did a video on that, but today I am going to be talking about kind of the myth of meritocracy as it relates to YouTube. Of course, YouTube is still influenced by the whims and the value of actual people in society, but I think it's pretty interesting because there's that element of technology and an algorithm. Yeah, so I definitely love YouTube as a platform, and I think it's great for creative people and sharing knowledge, but it's just not as meritocratic as I think a lot of YouTubers make it out to be. But let's start from the beginning. So YouTube was founded in 2005 by some former PayPal employees, and Google actually bought it in 2006. So YouTube and social media in general was really different from other forms of entertainment because unlike TV, unlike movies, and even unlike streaming, the business model of YouTube is to get content from its everyday users. So the content isn't made with all these huge budgets and high production value and people with a lot of money and power. It's just made by some regular ass people who want to show their lives, their hobbies, and their talents. I mean, obviously now you can kind of see how YouTube content has shifted so much more to favor corporations because they do have the ability to make in a sense higher production value content. But when it started, it was just about people purely doing this for fun. I think creators back then, and even still now, really enjoy this concept because before YouTube, if you wanted to be in the business of entertaining thousands or millions of people, you kind of would have had to enter the industry through traditional, kind of Hollywood entertainment, and there's such a high barrier to entry to that, and there's so many unrealistic and unattainable standards imposed on talent, and just such a few amount of people who can be chosen to be stars. So I think that's like a really awesome aspect of YouTube, how like anyone has access to it. At the same time though, I don't think that YouTube is a platform where access automatically equals equal opportunity to success, and I'll get into that a little bit later. So in May 2007, YouTube started the YouTube Partner Program, a system based on AdSense, which allows the uploader of a video to share the revenue produced by advertising on the site. If you don't know, YouTube takes 45% of ad revenue and the other 55% goes to the uploader of the video or the creator. I do bring this up because I think it's important to remember that at the end of the day, YouTube is in the business of selling ads. YouTube is in the business for selling ads, one, for the highest amount they can get, meaning like the highest CPMs possible, because that equals more money for YouTube and more money for the creator. And then two, to the most possible eyeballs they can get their ads on, also known as views. So as enigmatic as the YouTube algorithm is, the one thing that I think will stay constant for it is that it's going to push content that has a precedent for success. And a precedent for success can mean very different things for different users, because we all know our YouTube homepage and our recommendations are tailored to our viewing and consuming habits, and they do this because it's going to keep your eyes on the screen and you'll see more ads. So now I'm going to talk about like a section of YouTube where I think the myth of meritocracy is the most prevalent. And honestly, this could just be my experience with YouTube, because as I said, everyone's feed is tailored to like who they are and who they have already watched. But I feel like this section of YouTube where this myth of meritocracy is like most prevalent is in like the lifestyle / vlogger section of YouTube. So personally, what this lifestyle section looks for me is I mostly watch female content creators who are in their late teens or in their 20s, and they make lifestyle content, vlogs, sometimes fashion related videos too. Of course, I still watch a bunch of other like random content out of this niche, but this is mostly what I'm subscribed to and what I mostly get recommended. And I've noticed with these kind of content creators that I mostly watch and that I mostly recommended to, they have these pretty similar baseline attributes, but their personality or their editing style is kind of like what makes them different flavors and sets them apart. So basically the baseline attributes I've noticed in this like young vlogger space is someone who is skinny, someone who is white or has light skin no matter what race they are, and someone who is able-bodied, and someone who kind of has enough economic privilege to have a disposable income. And with that disposable income, they're able to do like interesting things, like maybe live in a nice expensive city, have an aesthetically pleasing room or house or apartment. They're able to buy cute clothes on a regular basis, and they're able to do things like go to college, for example. And I definitely recognize that I like fit some of these descriptions, so I'm not like being like, these people are bad because they have baseline attributes, but it's just something I've noticed. And also remember that this is what I see in my YouTube feed. Yours could be completely different. But basically, I would consider these baseline attributes to be privileges. And they're privileges that tend to inform who is the most successful, also known as who gets the most views on YouTube. I think if you have like all those kind of attributes I just listed, as opposed to if you don't, like it's gonna be really easy to predict, like based on if you have these attributes, you could probably be pretty successful on YouTube, which is sad, but YouTube and its algorithm are gonna push content that has a precedent for success. And being skinny and being able-bodied and having lighter skin, that has a precedent for success on YouTube and in the outside world, because that just happens to be what our society tends to value. And of course, I'm not saying if you don't have any of these attributes, like you shouldn't even try at YouTube, like you're not going to be successful. That's not the case at all. There are definitely content creators that don't fall into these categories and have been successful, but it's something that I've more so noticed for like this like lifestyle type of vlogger niche, where like the person's product is kind of like how they are able to present themselves to the world, if that makes sense, or how they're able to present their life to the world. So I think if you're watching YouTube, or if you're a smaller content creator and you happen to not have these kind of attributes, it can be very disillusioning to hear that YouTube is a platform that anyone can make it on if you work hard enough, because that is, I think, largely the narrative that YouTubers say, mostly successful YouTubers say. So yeah, I think because YouTube and because the internet has become so accessible, there's this notion that everyone has an equal shot at succeeding on YouTube despite their background, but I just don't think that is true. For example, on TikTok, I've seen people express like frustration with that, like there's so many like, you know, kind of skinny white, like pretty content creators who get so successful just because of those like baseline attributes. But like if you're a POC, even if you do happen to have like those conventionally attractive features, like whether you're skinny or something, like there kind of has to be like another layer of value, like you have to be funny, or you have to have like a really good talent or something. So I feel like that's definitely pretty similar to YouTube, especially like in the lifestyle space. So this is not to say that successful YouTubers or successful vloggers haven't worked hard. They totally have. For example, Casey Neistat, yes, he is privileged in the sense that he's a white cisgender male, and he started out with enough money to have access to equipment to create videos, but also he uploaded extremely high quality vlogs every single day for over a year, and that is really, really hard. Like he would upload a vlog every single day at like 9 a.m. Like that was crazy, and that takes a lot of hard work. So privilege does not discount hard work. Society places values on certain attributes, and if you happen to be born in a society that places value on the attributes you were born with, you're very lucky. And that's essentially just what privilege is. You didn't ask for it, you didn't work for it, it's just the way that it is. So I think it's really important that successful content creators on this platform, especially like successful vloggers / lifestyle content creators on this platform, acknowledge that a lot of their success is from luck and from privilege. And this is different than doing like one of those like, I'm not trying to brag, guys, like I'm so privileged, I'm so blessed. Like it's very different from that. It's acknowledging that yes, I'm successful and my success has a direct correlation to my privilege, not a direct correlation to how hard I have worked. And of course, this is going to be way easier said than done for a lot of people because it requires the number one virtue, which is humility. Also, I think it's important to acknowledge how much the YouTube algorithm plays into people's success. I have had videos on YouTube that got like over 100K views, and I never had that for like the longest time. And I can tell you, I suddenly like didn't get all these views because I worked super hard. Like, yes, I did try to put effort into those videos, and I think I did a good job on them, but I wasn't out here like single-handedly promoting it to get millions of impressions and subsequently hundreds of thousands of views. Like that's the YouTube algorithm, and you know, it's like humanly impossible to put your video like with your own two hands in front of millions of people and then have like 7% or even 10% decide to click on that video. Like that kind of reach comes from an algorithm, so you're not actually like putting in labor. That's why YouTube is something like you can really make money while you're sleeping and while like overnight. So even though people sometimes you might spend 10-20 hours editing a video, you can achieve success that is like basically on an exponential curve. Like it's not going to be directly, I spent this many hours editing a video, so I'm going to get this much success. It's like, it's not a direct correlation. It's like exponential with what the YouTube algorithm can do for you and can do for your success. So once you like really get picked up on it, it's like you actually don't have to work as hard. I would argue it's way harder in the beginning when you're starting out from like going from like 0 to 1,000 or 10,000 subscribers, than it is when you have like already built up your following, and when the algorithm kind of like just likes your videos and will pick it up, because it's just way easier to get them out there. The effort to like reward ratio of YouTube, it can be like 20% to like 80%, because sometimes people make some like, you know, simple ass videos that just happen to like go viral. It's like, yeah, I didn't like, you're like, oh, I didn't really put much thought into that, like it was just like this random vlog, and you know, suddenly maybe it gets like hundreds of thousands or millions of views. It's not because they put so much hard work into it, it's because their video kind of got picked up by the algorithm. And was it like valuable content that people enjoyed? Of course, but it wasn't them like single-handedly like cold emailing millions of people, hey, watch my video, because that's just like impossible. And you know, that's the beauty of technology, but it's also like the downfall, because it naturally isn't gonna do it for everyone. It's gonna do it for a select few amount of people. In the United States and in the United Kingdom, children's top career aspirations is to be a YouTuber or a blogger, which is like crazy, but why not? It seems like a great job. But I feel like it's important that kids know that it's not necessarily going to be a career where your hard work directly correlates to your success. On the flip side, you're going to kind of have that mindset where all your failure equals your lack of worth or your lack of value, which is also not true. And I think especially on YouTube, where you're on a platform and like the commodity you're selling is kind of like yourself. Like for most YouTubers, it's you in front of the camera, it's you editing it, it's you doing all the stuff. And so when you kind of like treat yourself as a commodity and then suddenly you're not performing as well, like all that weight of like the pride you carried from your success like also really translates to like the shame and the worthlessness you might feel from failure, which is really intense and really not healthy for anyone. So I'm here to say that I'm very lucky and very grateful to have been afforded even an iota of success on this platform, but that most of it, and like probably all of it, cannot be attributed to my own doing. I may not have like privilege because of the color of my skin. I'm not like in the richest percentile of people, but you know, even being middle class, like in a first world country, is an immense privilege to have. And it's, you know, something that I recognize. Being able-bodied, like all that stuff kind of plays into it, on top of having the YouTube algorithm, even if it's not like every single video I upload, like even having videos that have received a bunch of views. Like it's not just because I have like I'm like a marketing genius. It's because like suddenly videos got picked up by the algorithm and a lot of people saw them and liked them, and I really appreciate that, but I can't say it's like all my hard work. But yeah, I really don't want this video to be discouraging to anyone. Like please make videos on YouTube, because I think it's so important to see diverse creators and a wide array of creators in all different sections of YouTube, especially in lifestyle section, because that can be a section that's very just, you know, it can just be dominated by people who have the same kinds of privileges. So anyway, I just want to encourage all of you, no matter who you are, no matter what position you're in, to just have a moment of gratitude and really think about how luck and privilege has played into getting you to where you are in life right now. My camera's about to die, and I am literally 20 minutes late for class because I kept on filming this video, so I have to go. But thank you guys so much for watching this video, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye!